Notice that you have something very easy to start with, which is this y is already isolated almost. It only has a positive 1 beside it. So if you simply move 4x to the right and change the sign, you have a y now by itself. You can plug this into this y up here to get 2x squared plus 3 times a negative 4x minus 6 equals a negative 4. Simplify by multiplying through by 3 to get a negative 12x minus 18, then equals a negative 4. Remember, you must have it in this form, ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. And we have 2x squared minus 12x minus 18. Move the minus 4 to the left, and then simplify the back end. Negative 18 plus 4 is minus 14. Don't forget, you can make this easier by dividing everything by 2 to get x squared minus 6x minus 7 equals 0. When you do that, you can factor this one. It makes it much easier. If we factor that, we end up with x plus 1 and then x minus 7. 1 and negative 7 multiply to get negative 7, and they add to get a negative 6. When you go through to set this and this equal to 0, your solutions are negative 1 and 7. So you have to put that back into the very top for x 2 different times. So we have negative 1 and 7 that we must take with us back up here. And I'm going to use 4x plus y equals a negative 6. 4x plus y equals a negative 6. I'm plugging in a negative 1 first. When I do that, it's going to give me a negative 4 in this spot that I must move over to the right side and make plus 4. Negative 6 plus 4 is negative 2. So I put in a negative 1 and came back with negative 2. But now I have to do the same thing again with 4x plus y equals a negative 6. And we're going to plug in a 7. And when I do 4 times 7, I get a 28. That 28 is going to have to move over to the other side and become minus 28. That'll give me a y value of negative 34. So I plugged in a 7 and came back with a negative 34. So your solutions are negative 1, negative 2, 7, negative 34. For this problem, you have 2 choices amongst the y's. You could use this one and end up dividing by 2, or use this one and dividing by negative 2. I'm going to use the bottom one since it has a plus 2 beside the y. If we do that and get y by itself, we move the 6x to the right and change the sign. Divide everything by 2 to get a negative 3x plus 7. We can plug this in to the other equation here for y. So negative x squared minus 2 times the quantity, negative 3x plus 7, equals negative 6. Distribute the minus 2 through the parentheses. Negative x squared plus 6x minus 14 equals negative 6. So keep the negative x squared and the plus 6 and the minus 14 on the left. Move the minus 6 to the left. Simplify your constants at the end. Negative 14 plus 6 is negative 8. Don't forget that you also have the choice of dividing everything by a negative number. In other words, changing the sign of everything to get x squared minus 6x plus 8 equals 0. You can do that so that it's much easier to factor if it is possible. 2 numbers that multiply to get a positive 8, but they add to get a negative 6 would be minus 4, minus 2. And when you set each of these equal to 0, you get solutions of 4 and 2, which you need to plug back in up here to one of these equations. I'm going to choose 6x plus 2y equals 14. 6x plus 2y equals 14. and plug in 4 first. When I put a 4 there, I come back with a 24 in that spot that I'm going to have to move over to the right side and make it minus 24. When I do that, I'm left with a negative 10 on the right, which I will divide by 2 to get a negative 5. So I've put in a 4 and came back with a negative 5. But I have to do this again with the equation 6x plus 2y equals 14 by putting in a 2. So if I put a 2 in there, I will get a 12 in that spot that I'm going to have to move to the right side and change the sign, which will leave me with a positive 2. And if I divide that, positive 2 by 2, I get a 1. So I put in a 2 and came back with a 1. Your solutions are 4, negative 5, and 2, 1.